So good morning, ma'am. We would like to hear from you about obesity and its causes and how to prevent it. And even if you have obesity, and how to, I mean, then how to actually actually go from fat to slim, and about BMI, about everything. So, ma'am, please start, and we actually look forward to hear from you. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Okay, so obesity or being overweight, when we say in lay person's language, is it's a very long process of getting a disease. Very slowly, people start gaining weight over the ages until and unless they become aware the time has already passed. So we have to be cautious and careful right from the beginning. So let me make you little aware about what obesity is, or how our body is made up of. Primarily, our body is made up of two tissues, two masses. One is fat mass, which is like charbhi, and second is lean tissue. Lean tissue is which is made up of muscles and organs and fluid and blood and bones, everything. Non-fatty tissue is lean tissue. So in a normal healthy person, fat tissue should be approximately up to 20% of the total body weight, and the lean would be about 80% of the total body weight. And this percentage would change slightly in males and females. Like males are more muscular, they have more muscles, and females, they are more fatty because of the hormones which they are carrying. Like males are more muscular because they have testosterone. They have big bones, they have big shoulders. Fat is little less. So approximately about 10 to 15% should be the ideal fat in males, beyond which or below which is something which we have to look into it. More than that would be you are going towards obesity, and less than that is you are weak. Similarly, in females, about 15 to 21, 22%, depending upon the age and parity, and depending upon the height also, that is the ideal fat which a female should have. Beyond and below which is beyond is unhealthy, we need to lose it, and less than that is also unhealthy, because we have to have certain amount of fat in our body for various body functions. Okay, and this is because estrogen is more in females, and estrogen is the hormone which is for fat deposition. Okay, so beyond these percentages, if our body is carrying extra, then our body is not healthy. Within this percentage, our body is healthy and fit. Beyond it, we have to look into it carefully. So before we go into reasons of how and why we gain weight, we need to understand and to find out whether we are overweight or not. Because sometimes it happens that our bones are big and our body structure is big, muscles are big, because different body types are there. So we need to understand whether we are overweight or not. So as you said, BMI is one of the tests, which is it is a value which we find out. We can do it ourselves. How we do it is that we take our weight in kgs, and we take our height in meters. So we divide the two, weight in kgs divided by height in meters square. Whatever value comes, that is our BMI, or body mass index. So if this value is 24 to 25, within this limit, we are healthy. If it goes beyond, let's say 25 to 30, then we become overweight. That means we are overloading our body with extra fat or extra weight. Beyond that, 30 to 35, it becomes obesity. It becomes a disease. Before that, it becomes a disorder. So beyond 30, it becomes a disease. So grade 1 obesity, grade 2 obesity, grade 3 obesity, and it goes on like that. And also if the value is less than 24, if it is about, let's say, 18 to 24, so we have to be careful. We have to look into our little bit, we have to put on weight. If it is less than 18, that means we are also in the unhealthy category. So as I told you how to find out it, it is easy. You can do it ourselves. We can also do it with a pinch test, like we pinch our skin on the specific areas like arms or thighs or abdomen and see if the pinch size is more than 1.5 inches, that means we are obese. So understanding the value, which is being within this value, is something which we have to achieve, and it is a continuous process. So we need to find out the reasons now why we become. Since obesity is a very multi-organ, multifaceted disease. It can have many reasons. It can have one reason, it can have many reasons. The primary reason of our gaining weight is when our body has an imbalance of input and output. Input is whatever we are eating in terms of food, physical food. If it is more than our requirement, it gets deposited as fat. Or we are burning less, our expenditure is, let's say, if we are eating 3,000 calories and we are burning only 2,000 calories. So what happens with the 1,000 calories? It get deposited as fat. It is a simple calculation. If we eat, let's say, about 750 calories more than our requirement, it becomes 100 grams of fat. It gets deposited as 100 grams of fat. As we already know that when we eat food in any form, it gets converted into glucose and it is used as fuel, the source of energy for our working, for the body function. Now, if the source of energy is more, it gets accumulated 750 calories more, it gets accumulated as 100 grams of fat. And if we do it on daily basis, every day, if we are consuming 500, 600 calories more, so by the time 1 month happens, we can gain up to 2 kg, 3 kgs, 4 kgs. That's how the fat gets accumulated. So this is one reason of weight gain. So what does our body want? Our body is very simple. It is a complex structure, but what it wants simply is, what it requires simply is thoda sa khana, little bit of food at regular intervals. That is all what it wants. Now, if we give this body more than what it requires, it disrupts the body mechanism, body chemistry. So body will, as we already discussed last time, his body will give you clues. It will start, you'll start feeling heavy, you'll start feeling burping if you are eating more in a meal. Body will start giving you clues. Now, if we are understanding those clues, we will be able to compensate. Body says you compensate it. Now, if we are overruling it, ignoring it, it'll start showing up on our face. It will start showing up on our body. If we again ignore it, overlook it, then the fat will start penetrating our organs. We'll get fatty liver, and it starts showing again. Body again tries to give us warnings. It starts showing us results in our blood chemistry changes, our ultrasound changes. We get to know about, with scanning, we get to know about that we are overloading our body. So please take care of it. So this is what our body wants. We have to respect it. So whenever we are ingesting more, it will not go wasted, unlike water. If we consume more water, it will get out of our system as urine, or we perspire more. But food, in any terms, it gets deposited as fat. This we have to understand. And it gets deposited in our fat stores, fat banks. Primarily, it gets deposited under our skin as subcutaneous fat. Now, and it starts showing up as we discussed. But if we still ignore it, it gets inside our organs, as we said, as visceral fat, which is not good for us. So since body is giving us clues, so we have to understand that eating is 70% reason of our overweight is because of eating. Eating may not necessarily be quantity wise always. It could be quality wise. What is the quality of food we are eating? What are the timings? What is the frequency? And many other things. How we are eating. So that also matters while food is concerned. Second is the output. If our output is less, see how do you calculate your output? Input is very easily 1 kilo khana khaya or 2 chapati khaya ya 4 chapati khaya. It is easy. Output calculation is little more. We have to be cautious about it. So our total body output is given by 3 primary factors. One is the output, which is because of our basal metabolic rate. That means BMR, which means at rest, if you're not doing anything, how much energy we are burning. Now, this is based on your body structure and you are born with it. So it may be different for you. It may be different for somebody else. It may be different for 2 siblings also, same family. It is based on your body structure. And this is total 70% of your body expenditure is given by your BMR, which is body metabolism, which is the basal metabolic rate. Second factor is lifestyle. What is the kind of lifestyle we are following? Are we sedentary, like we are not doing anything physically, or we are moderate worker, or we are heavy worker in physical terms? Mostly people who are nowadays, because of the computerization and because of urbanization, people are becoming more and more sedentary. That means the physical activity is becoming less. They are not able to do the normal daily dincharya jo hoti hai, wo bhi nahi karte hain. So our lifestyle energy, it becomes less and less. So become more and more sedentary. So let's say about 30% energy we burn because of our lifestyle. If we are sedentary, we burn 40% of our total energy. If we are little moderate worker, and if we are heavy worker, like laborers and all who do physical work, they burn 50% of their calories. Now, since we are primarily sedentary, we burn only 30%. That is the second. Now, BMR, which is more or less fixed for us, we cannot change it. Lifestyle is also more or less fixed for us, but we can little bit change it. We can change our habits so that we at least are burning whatever we are ingesting. Utna to karna padega. The third factor, which is variable factor as far as total output of energy is concerned for an individual, is if we are doing something over and above our basic life, which is some exercises we are doing, some running, some jogging, some walking, swimming, or whatever we are doing over and above our normal work schedule, that also adds on to become the total output. So body metabolism, BMR, lifestyle energy, and third is the exercises. These 3 components put together will give us our total output. And this also we can calculate. Very easily we can calculate. And if our lifestyle is, BMR is fixed, if our lifestyle is also fixed, like we are sedentary, so we are burning little amount. And if there are no exercises, we are also burning nil. So total output becomes less. If the total output becomes less, however little we are eating, even if it is 100 calories, 200 calories, it will get deposited as fat for sure. This we need to understand. So second reason of being obese is our output or our body expenditure becoming less or low, which we have to work on. Now, there are other reasons. Third reason we can say is a lot of stresses and strains and depressions people are having these days, which are also like mental food for us, which also ultimately gives rise to many psychosomatic problems, and obesity is one of them. So depressions and all sorts of stresses which are very common these days is also major, because the outcome of all these is we eat indiscriminately, and which gives weight gain. Then there are reasons like we have medical reasons are there, like as I said, psychosomatic problems, obesity is one of them. We have diabetes, we have hypertension, and there are many hormonal imbalances which are very, very common these days. Like there is some problem with the hormones in our body, like insulin hormone, leptin hormone, sex hormones, there are growth hormones, there are many kind of hormones which are either not working properly or they are insufficient, giving rise to obesity as a side effect. Then there are problems like drugs or medicines. What happens is people, especially the young people, they take steroids as for bodybuilding and all, or we have a medical problem, we take corticosteroids, or we take like hormonal pills, contraceptive pills we are taking. We take antipsychotic drugs, we take antihypertensive drugs. All these drugs, when it goes inside our body, within 2 to 3 months, we start gaining weight. We start gaining weight, either in terms of we gain weight because carbohydrate metabolism becomes less, or we start retaining our body fluids. So या तो पानी भर जाता है या हमारा metabolism slow कर देता है, all these medicines. So because of which metabolism becomes slow, expenditure becomes slow, even if eating is normal, we gain weight. Another reason of in terms of medicines is like people indiscriminately use antibiotics. थोड़ा सा भी कुछ problem हुआ, people start taking antibiotics. So all these indiscriminately taken medicines, they create a lot of commotion in the gut microbiota. जो भी हमारे microbes हैं, जो हमारे gut के microns, gut के जो microbes हैं, उनके functions को it disrupts. Like they start unka digestion, they're not able to digest the food, they're not able to absorb the food, break down the food properly, which gives a lot of problem, and we are not able to, our blood sugar increases, and a lot of problem happens because of indiscriminately taking medicines off and on, which we are used to these days. Then there is another reason, which although is little less, it is genetic reason of weight gain. So genetic reason means it travels in families. So there are about 200, 300 genes that have been found, which travel through parents to children, and they are making you prone to become obese. If the parents are obese, those genes will definitely travel into you and will make you prone to obesity. And also, even if the genes are there, you are eating normal, but they will not allow you to lose weight normally also. So there are various types of genes. 15, 20 of them are well known. 2 of them are like there are OB genes, there are TUB genes. These are which have been known, and they have been transmitting into the kid. That's why we say that if parents are healthy, the offsprings definitely would be healthy. And if offsprings are unhealthy or overweight, if they take care of themselves now, change their environment, etc., their offsprings, they would be able to avoid sending them or transmitting the genes to them. So it is a very less percentage of people who get genetically prone obesity. Let's say 1% or 2% of the total reasons of obesity is because of genetic reasons. Besides the genetic reason, it is the environment of a family, the food culture of the family, or the lifestyle of the family, which a child is able to get influenced by it, and which leads to childhood obesity. So it is primarily more of the environment in which we are making our children and offspring grow right from the beginning. So these are some of the major reasons of obesity. There could be other reasons also, but if you want to know more about the reasons, maybe we can discuss. Otherwise, we can go for solutions. If the time permits, please let me know. If anybody wants to ask anything, or we can go further and go on for solutions.
I think we can go for solutions. Everyone wants to know how we can reduce.
Okay. So the solutions, how to manage obesity. Since obesity is a complex process, managing obesity would be based on what kind of obesity do we have? Like, what is the stage of obesity? Are we overweight, or we are obese category, or we are in morbid category? So obesity can be managed by surgery, by drugs, by lifestyle management, by diet and exercises, etc., depending upon what is the base position. If we are grossly obese, people are suggested to go for surgeries. And there are people who may not be having any comorbid situation. They still prefer to go for surgery because they feel it is easy. But it is not. What happens in surgery, all of us know that they either cut your stomach or they bypass your intestines. And so that there is low space available and you eat less. But then there are side effects of surgery. Then people go for drugs also. Like there are people take shortcuts. They take either go injectable drugs are there, or there are oral medicines which are taken. What do these medicines do? They act on your nervous system. They act on your brain. They depress your appetite centers. आपको भूख नहीं लगता है. And either they will create satiety. So you will feel full. So these things are, so by eating these medicines and injectables or oral, we are fiddling with our normal central nervous system, with our normal brain process. So we are fiddling with it, so we become dependent on these medicines. They might give you results initially, but they're not very good. Both of them are not good. In certain morbid situations, doctors do prescribe medicines, lena zaruri hai, but both these drug route and the surgery route, both of them, if not accompanied by lifestyle and food management, they are unsuccessful. So they may give you instant results, but if they're not followed by your food culture change and your environmental change, you have a tendency to go back to the same environment and you will gain weight for sure. Worldwide, it happens. So if we have to look into the lifestyle and we have to look into our eating culture and we have to modify it, so it is better we do it as early as possible and look into how can we modify it. So as I said that it is very important to understand that since we are dealing with the body chemistry. So we have to, weight loss process has to be prioritized. It has to be given uninterrupted care, or we have to follow it uninterruptedly. What do people do is they do it for one day, diet kara, exercise kara, and then they get fed up of it. And then they say, okay, next day karunga, wo karunga. So what happens is that this interrupted approach of obesity will not give you, of weight management will not give you any result. Just like when we are, let's say we are cooking some good, delicious food, humne banana hai, we put it on gas, and if we are switching on and switching off the gas at regular intervals or at frequent intervals, the food will not be cooked properly. So similarly, for the obesity management or the or weight loss, or for that matter, anything, any work that we need to do has to get prioritized. It has to be given due priority and it has to be uninterruptedly done. तो ये अपना ध्यान में रखना है कि हम इसको बीच में नहीं रोक सकते हैं. If it is to be done for 6 days or a month or 2 months, 3 months, we have to do it regularly, then only we will get results. So prioritization and uninterrupted approach is one thing which we have to remember if we have to do weight management. Second thing is we need to find out the root cause. There are, as I said, there are many reasons. We need to find out if there's a medical reason or if there's a food is a problem. Then we have to look into it ki quantity kaisi hai, quality kaisi hai, time pe liya, nahi liya. So all those things we have to look into it. If output is a problem, then we have to make ourselves more physically active. If medicine is a problem, then we have to avoid taking steroids or other contraceptives so that we will not get prone to all these things. So depending upon if let's say we found out now if food is a problem, as I said, is 70% reason for weight gain is food and food related. So we need to see, since all of us know what are the foods which we have to avoid and which we have to take, but we need to keep certain points in mind while we are looking into food. We don't have to go into denial mode, ye nahi khana, wo nahi khana. It is very important. We have to just in every meal, we have to see whatever is our expenditure. We can calculate it as we have calculated earlier. So based on that optimal amount of food, we have to portion control and eat it. It has to be nutritious. It has to be pौष्टिक. It should have all the components of protein and fats and vitamin, minerals, etc. And carbohydrates in it in right proportion in every meal. And we need, if let's say we are a sedentary worker and we have to take about 1500 calories, our main food has to be consumed in the breakfast. Breakfast should be the heaviest one. Let's say 400, 500 calories we have to consume in breakfast. Then our lunch should be little less and let's say 400 calories, and the least should be our dinner. And normally what we do is we do opposite. We skip our breakfast and we go and have enough. We have more quantity of food in our dinner time. And we already know that why we require in morning more food is because then we have to work throughout entire day. And why we require less food in the dinner is because then we are sedentary, we are lying down, we are sleeping. That's how we have to break down the amount of calories in each meal. And also there should not be a big gap between the two meals, because the three main meals will have 3-4 hours of gap in between. So we can have in between mini meals. Let's say about 100 and 150 calories in between we should have the mini meal also, so that throughout the day we are able to give energy to our body for its working. So similarly, the food, how much frequency we discussed, then we can look into every time when we are eating food, we have to take it for at least 20 minutes, because 20 minutes we have to finish it in 20 minutes, because 20 minutes cycle, 20 minutes time is when the brain starts registering that something has gone inside your mouth. So, and what we do is the reverse of it. We finish our food in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, because we are always in a hurry. We have to, so we need to understand we will always remain hungry. Our mind will always remain hungry, and throughout the day we will continue eating it. So satiety will not come. And then we have many other things, like we have to chew food properly so that all our juices, they are mixing properly with our food and they are digesting the food, absorbing the food properly, rather than gulping the food at once and then letting the food become undigested food. It will become putrefied and it will give reasons to gas and other putrefaction processes, constipation and etc. So then there is things like Then we can talk about in terms of food, the amount of water we need to take, not with the food, we have to take it before half an hour before or 1.5 hours after our meals, and in substantial quantity, about 2 to 3 liters in a day that we should consume, so that it cleanses our gut also. And the food should be colorful. It should be in the sense like it should have all the components, more of fibers, less of oily, and less of the refined foods, more of complex carbohydrates we have to eat in our food. Now, food-wise, then we have the working-wise output we have to increase. Output increase is very easy. We have to make ourselves, our lifestyle has to be a little more active. We have to learn to do our own things. We have to learn to walk to the instead of taking lift. So make our lifestyle little more active so that we are able to burn more. Totally output increases. Like after every meal we are eating, we should sit for 5-10 minutes, and then we should walk about 200-300 steps so that we are able to digest and direct the food towards muscles, and we are able to accordingly consume it, accordingly convert it into glycogen, not into fat. So exercises, and beyond that we have to do exercises. If at all we can do, we should start doing exercises. We can do simple walks, we can do brisk walk, we can do whatever is available. What a time has to be not more than 20-30 minutes. And we can do swimming, we can do step climbing. The least would be walking, which is about 100 calories we are burning. And it is step climbing, which is about, or swimming, which is about, swimming is about 400-500 calories we are burning. And step climbing is about 900 calories, or skipping 900 calories. Whatever we can do, we can, if we can add on 100-200 calories of exercises every day, we would be able to add on to total output of our body, so that we are able to balance out. The idea is to balance out our input and output. If our output is less, we have to improve it. And if input, sometimes let's say we indulge and we eat more, we can balance it out. So, or we can exert, we can maybe exercise little bit, so that we are able to balance out, and we can balance it out in next meal, we can balance it out in next day, 3 days, 4 days, we can balance out our input and output. That is majorly how we should be able to manage our weights. So a weight loss phase, like we are able to, and we don't have to have very big target. It's, let's say, about up to 1 kg, we should have weight loss in 1 week's time, about 2 to 3 kgs maximum in a month's time, because we are gaining weight very slowly. So we have to lose also slowly. It should not be like you are losing 1 kg a day and then you are losing 10 kgs a month. So what, because that is unhealthy, because whatever we are losing there is not the fat. The idea is to lose fat, not the muscles, not excess fluids. So when we lose drastically by crash dieting, etc., we are losing the essential elements of our body, which is muscles. And losing muscles means losing our metabolism, reducing our metabolism. And because muscles cannot be gained, muscles once lost cannot be gained after a certain age. So we have to be careful. We have to be careful in a way that we have to preserve our muscle. We have to take more proteins when we are losing our weight. So preserving our proteins is going to make our metabolism be stable. So the nutshell is that we have to balance out how much we are eating and how much we are burning, and we can do it easily. So once we are in the weight loss phase, let's say we've lost 2 kgs, 3 kgs in a month, or 4 kgs in 1.5-2 months time, then we have to stabilize it. We have to learn to stabilize it. It is very important. Because see, what we do is, normally people lose, say they lose 10 kgs, 15 kgs, but they have 100% chance of getting it rebound and rebound phenomenon happens because we are curbing our appetite. Our cravings are without our इच्छा से हम जब अपनी वो जो कंट्रोल में लाके वेट लॉस करते हैं ना, उससे क्या होता है कि we go back into the same environment, we will gain back. So we always have to stabilize whatever we have lost so that the body learns to manage it at that level. 5 kg loss, stabilize it for 1 month or 15 days or 20 days, and then again go for another phase of weight loss. So this has to be in a step ladder pattern in a reverse manner. And at the same time, when we have achieved our weight loss, which is 5 kg, 10 kgs, depending upon your problem, we need to maintain it, and then we need to be careful about it that we can gain what we are like we have to gain muscles if we can at an age, if we are in that age bracket less than 25 years, we should be able to exercise continuously, be cautious about what we are eating and how much we are burning, and be active. So weight loss is something which can come back, as I said, very it happens. It can come back immediately, but so we have to be very, very careful about the entire process. While we are doing it, we have to do it uninterruptedly. And once we finish it, we have to be careful about how much we are eating, how much we are burning, and we have to balance it out throughout our life. That is something we would be able to take control of our weight, as well as we will be able to avoid many other problems which are associated with being obese: diabetes, hypertension, thyroid, PCOD. There are and arthritis. So many problems which are associated. We can avoid those conditions if we are able to control the obesity in the beginning only, at a younger age only, at a lower stage only, when we are less than 30 BMR. Later on also we can do it, but it will take little more time for it. So managing our input-output is something which we have to primarily do to manage our weight loss. This is something which I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions, please.
Thank you so much, Shobha, for such an interesting talk. And you covered many, very important points. I wanted to know, when you said by skipping you can, reduce 900, calories or something. So is there any duration also for these activities that you would like to suggest? Like,
yeah, there
how
is
many numbers are
out when we are doing exercises, there is a certain formula which we have to follow, which is called FIT phenomenon, which is FIT. F is the frequency, I is the intensity, and T is the time or the duration for which an exercise has to be done. Frequency is how often we are doing it. We can start doing it once in a week, twice in a week, 3 times in a week, depending on how much time we have. We don't have to pressurize our body. We have to slowly build up the stamina and the muscle endurance so that we are able to sustain whatever kind of exercise we are doing, be swimming or be walking, etc. Intensity is also important, is at what pace we are doing exercises. Like, intensity can be measured by measuring your pulse. So if you start with exercises by measuring your pulse, and if it is 72 or 70 beats per minute, so we have to start exercising in a way that our pulse or our heart rate or our breathing increases. So that is the cardiovascular exercise. That is where the air hunger is created. That exercise is something which is cardiovascular, which is where we are able to burn calories. So if we are exercising, like people do go for walks, they go for hours and walks, there is no change in their heart rate, there is no change in their pulse. That is not something which is calorie burning exercise. It is just to change your environment. So if you have to specifically increase our output or burn our calories, we can say is our pulse rate has to go up. It can go up to double the amount. Let's say 70 se start kiya, you can go up to 120 or 140. And then it should come back. So exercise is always, there's a technique, you start with the warm up, 5 minutes of warm up, and then you do exercises and then you do cool down. So duration time, the fit cut, the T1 was the time. Duration is, you can do it for maximum 30 minutes, 5 minutes of warm up, 20 minutes of major bulk of the exercise, and then 5 minutes of the cool down. This is the regime if we are following, in which 5 minutes of warm up is to mobilize your organs, mobilize your joint, which is very important. We can't suddenly go and start exercising. That should not be done, because heart is also a muscle. It also has to be trained to do exercises. So warm up is important. Then we have to check our pulse, and we can see improve the pulse rate increases. We start being little breathless. You may feel little perspiration also. That means you are burning your calories. So 10 minutes or 15 minutes of that, and then you go down. You reduce your intensity. अपनी pace कम कर देते हो. Walking कम कर दिया आपने. Frequency जैसे जो rate पे आप दौड़ रहे हो या walk कर रहे हो. So reduce it and then go for cool down, where you are lying down in Shavasana, or you are just lying down still, so that all our systems, because by exercises, what happens, or this, as I said, is pulse increases, heart rate increases, they have to come back to normal. The muscles which are throbbing, they have to come back to normal. Otherwise, if they remain throbbing like that, if blood pressure remains like that, we might land up into some kind of a fainting or something of that sort. So we have to cool down our body at the same time. And this can be done 30 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes is sufficient. We can begin with once in a week, then twice in a week. Likewise, we can improve our cardiac and our lung and heart capacity, so that we are able to burn calories. Yes.
How to avoid muscle loss?
See, muscle loss is it is bound to happen when we lose weight. After a certain age, muscle loss will happen, because muscle is also what? It is stored glycogen. It is something which is a protein. It has to get converted. It will get converted into glucose ultimately. But because that is the source of energy, as I would tell you, is that first source of energy which happens, which is utilized, is your carbohydrate store, which is the free floating glucose in your blood. That is used as energy if we don't eat food. Second is the proteins which come into action. These proteins, or the muscles are proteins, which get converted into glucose as source of energy. And last of all, fats come into action. Fats, they have to go through a lot of conversion. So it is last to get used as source of energy. If we have depleted our carbohydrate stores, glucose stores, then proteins are bound to be source of energy. So to avoid proteins, not losing proteins, one is that we have to take enough proteins in every meal. That's about 1 gram per kg body weight is the ideal protein which we should have in every meal. If you are 70 kg, 70 grams of your protein you should have in every meal. And second is, if you are in the age group of you are less than 30 years, where you are able to exercise anaerobically, where you are able to exercise your muscles, where you are able to train your muscles, you should be able to do anaerobic exercises, muscle training, so that you are conditioning your muscle and you are helping them grow. Otherwise, muscles, you cannot get your muscles back once lost. So fortifying your diet with enough proteins in every meal is something which you should be able to maintain your muscle mass, and exercising wherever possible to maintain your BMR, muscle mass, is something how you would be able to manage your muscle.
Yeah, but if you have uric acid, then you can't have protein in every meal. That will make it worse.
No, the proteins in uric acid, like there are certain other types of proteins which you can eat. You can eat, you have to avoid red meat. There are other sources of proteins which you can eat. You have to sparingly use it depending upon your condition, because you have to see the condition also should not get worsened. So if you have certain medical conditions, you need to consult your doctor and your dietitian so that she is able to analyze how much protein you should have in every meal. But depending upon what is the level of if you are getting replaced by your hormones, then there's no need, but you should consult your doctor to see how much proteins and which kind of protein you should eat.
So it can't be according to the body weight then.
No, if you have a medical issue, you always should consult your doctor, because we won't be able to assess how much protein you should be eating. And if you are eating, so you don't have to eat additional protein. It is not that you have to take additional proteins, but if your normal food is also having sufficient amount of protein, you don't have to eat additional proteins in your body, in your food. But do consult your doctor if you have any medical condition. Is there anything else?
Thank you so much for enlightening, ma'am, how to avoid emotional eating, because it has been observed that obesity is not just because of your physical thing. Now the doctor also say that it is because of emotional things also. So how to avoid emotional eating?
Okay, so obesity, as you rightly said, is not only always because of the physical body hunger which is.
I mean, even if the person is not eating it, the person is constantly in a flight and fight mode also. Then also the obesity has been observed. Like you gave an example of depression. That people are depressed, they keep on, even if the people are not eating, they are like mindful of their physical thing. I don't know, still people become obese just because of stress. It happens with me all the time. And I seen it, but one of my friends also, like during graduation, she was very stressed about a placement, so she get out of it. We started asking her to get some diagnostic tests done. Everything came normal, but she was continuously gaining weight. Like it can be hereditary, it can be many other reasons also. But how to become more emotionally stable so that we avoid obesity and such diseases? And because
it is important, as you said, is that overeating or indiscriminately eating after a depression is an outcome. So we need to understand, first of all, because depressions and stresses, we cannot avoid them. We need to see whatever we are, if eating is a way out of it, like you feel good when you are eating, then we have to sensibly eat. Sensible eating is something which we have to do when we are in emotional turmoil. So we should not go towards the fried food, we should not go towards unhealthy food, we should not go towards fast food. We can eat something which is more of fiber food, more of salads, more of vegetables, so that even if we are eating and satisfying our depressions with that, we are not able to gain so much. We don't have to go towards burfi and colas and so some things which are going to give us instant energy. We can eat food which is going to give us sustained energy, like high fibrous food also. And second thing is, if we can avoid, if the way out of these depression tensions could be other than eating, it could be you can dance, you can listen to music. The idea is to come out of that depression, not by eating, but something else. You can listen to music, you can change your atmosphere and go somewhere else. That is important, because and usse bhi zyada it is important to see why are you agitated, why you are tense, and find out the reasons for that and do action on that reason to understand why are you emotionally upset. Is it something natural or is it something which is man-made? You have done it. So that is something we have to do. So these 3 steps approach you have to take whenever you are in depression or stress or tension, and you're not able to handle the situation properly. Understand the situation, find the root cause of the situation, and if nothing else you can do eating, then eat sensible. Eat something which is giving you sustained release food, not the fast food, not the food which is giving you instant high chocolates, nahi khana us time. Eat something which is sensible. Yes.
Because it really helps, and obviously can have emotional, like we need to address even I'm also in the category of obesity only, like I have to confess that. So we address emotional, physical and everything, and I mean, do not let any situation affect us to an extent that we are constantly fight and fight mode, because when the person is fight and flight mode, usko pata bhi nahi chalta ki wo kar kya raha hai, even actions like just not eating, there are a lot of many things. So I think we need to be mindful of no matter what is going on in our life, and we need to be mindful of our own body, of our own self, and of our own emotions and everything in holistic, so that we can actually have a good life ahead.
See, sometimes it happens because of informational problem. It's just like there is physical reasons, there are psychological, emotional reasons, there is informational reason also. There are social reasons also, because of which we overeat. So informational reason is that sometimes we do not know what we are eating and how many calories it has, it is good for us or not. So the information about a particular kind of food which is unknown to us, we need to gather information or talk to people or consult people so that we know what is there, what is good and what is bad for us. If there's an egg, should we eat whole egg, or should we eat only white of egg, or should we eat only yellow of egg? Banana is good for us, or apple is good for us. So the information about a particular kind of a food or the way we are eating is also important. So wherever we can, we should possibly gather more and more information about ourselves. It is the obesity is DIY, is do it yourself. Nobody can help us. We have to understand our situation. We have to understand our surroundings, our social group, our peer group, our environment, and see what is good and what is bad for us. If it is a good environment, if it is an environment which is full of all obese people, all people who are drinking a lot and overindulging, then we have to avoid the company and go out of it. It is all in our hands. We need to take care of us.
My camera's got stuck.
Hello?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Ria, it is on your part. It's okay. Shobha ji, you can continue.
Yeah. So we need to understand our own situation, upon our own Ethereum, or surroundings, social circle. If need be, we can change it. There's no problem. People might say, कि हमारे group से निकल गया बाहर. No, and this is true not only for overweight. This is true for any kind of a situation where you find the atmosphere is not congenial for you. There is a lot of negative food which is going inside, negative mental food which is going inside you. The conditions are not good and the surroundings are not good. Just come out of it, because physical food is there, but the mental food is equally important. Mental food which is going inside, the hatred, the jealousy, the backbiting of people, it also creates it is also the mental food that we had discussed last time. This mental food also makes us prone to obesity, because ultimately obesity is also one of the psychosomatic problems. Psychosomatic is the problem which is linked to your mind and your body. So the body mind complex has to be modified if we have to take care of obesity. Now, without body mind modifications, no amount of surgery, no amount of counseling, no amount of drugs will help you lose weight. This is something. Accepting it, that I have a problem, is important, and then following the root cause of the problem, looking into the input-output of our problem. These are the basic things which we need to follow if we have to lead ourselves to a healthy life. And it is not one time. It is something which we have to do it regularly and consciously and continuously every day and every period of our life.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your enlightening session, and we hope we all work towards a more fitter world, not just in terms of weight, weight included, of course, but in terms of mental health, mental and physical fitness also, and we all are fit till the age of 90 and all, and we are independent. And I mean, of course, disease can happen also, but we can do our best to avoid it. And then, and actually, we are fit. Like even if something happens, like the people who get heart attack at young age, because I mean,
No, see, we don't have to avoid it. We have to accept it. It is very important. Avoiding a situation is not good way of dealing with the situation. We need to accept it. Accept
yes,
it.
so
Some accepts it that we have to change our body, we have to change our mind, we have to change our environment. The battle is half won. We've already achieved the weight loss. But avoiding it, ignoring it, or procrastination is something which we don't have to do at all. We have to accept it. जैसे ना वो खाना खाओ, मौत से खाओ, you can eat also and you can live also. Only you have to remember that we are eating to live, not living to eat. This is something we have to remember. Avoiding, no. Accepting, yes.
okay. So we keep coming and please talk about fitness, or it inspires us. Like it really inspires me to go for a job now, which like by hearing so many facts. So sometimes we're not even aware that what is happening to our body, because we might be going through some tough phases of life, and it affects us in every bit. It tours us. So I mean, but at a time it becomes, and somewhere I don't know, there's some in leaking. If you're going through something tough, if some economic issues are, sometimes some or the other kind of health issue always happens. But
Yes.
hearing such things, I mean, it inspires you, and ups and downs of life will keep on happening. But I think like not letting it affect our health is the greatest challenge, and I guess we all should exercise this. We all should practice it. And thank you so much, ma'am, for coming, and please coming. We look forward to host you every Mondays and every day also, because I mean, because it will inspire us, like because you have given us a seed. Now how to convert it into a fruit and all, it depends upon us. So
Yes.
thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.